Don't you ever step foot on my property again!
Both men were sprawled across Noah Briggs's front yard, howling in pain and clutching their legs like they'd just run into a brick wall. One tried to crawl, the other just rolled over and groaned. From where Noah stood, bat still in his hand, they looked less like enforcers and more like a bad joke that had finally gone wrong. Noah Briggs, a black man who came to Silverwood Meadows for peace and quiet, not chaos, had spent years saving up to buy this land, 40 acres of clean sky, lake breeze, and open space. It was supposed to be his fresh start. He had been a farrier for most of his life, working rodeo grounds and barns across the state, patching up horses and people alike. His knees gave out long before his will did, but he wanted one last thing, a place of his own, far from noise and nonsense. That was before Vivian Cross decided she ran the neighborhood. She was the new HOA president, blonde, sharp-tongued, and just racist enough to hide it behind fake smiles. From the day Noah moved in, she made it clear he didn't fit the look of Silverwood Meadows. He kept 2 Appaloosa horses, a bull named Titan, and a handful of chickens that kept the yard alive. Nothing illegal, nothing loud. But Vivian didn't like the sight of a black man running a clean, quiet property better than hers. Her letters started showing up fast, typed neatly, signed dramatically. Mr. Briggs, your livestock are in violation of community rules. Silverwood Meadows does not permit agricultural animals. You have 72 hours to comply or face penalties. Have you ever been told to give up something you worked your whole life for, all because someone thought their rules outweighed your rights? What would you do if a homeowner's president demanded you remove your animals not for what they were, but for who you are? Before we go further, what city or country are you watching from right now? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing where our viewers are tuning in from. And if you believe no one should be forced to bow to prejudice disguised as his authority, smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc, because standing your ground is more than a right, it's a statement. Noah read it, laughed, and tossed it into the burn barrel. She could keep her fake rules and her fake authority. His deed was crystal clear, agricultural rights included. But that wasn't what bothered her. It wasn't about animals. It was about him. Vivian wanted control. Noah wanted peace. Only one of them could have both. So Noah kept living his life, ignoring her gossip and her petty stares. But deep down, he knew it was just a matter of time before she crossed the line. And when she did, he wouldn't be the one crawling away. The days that followed were quiet on the surface, but Noah Briggs could feel the storm brewing. He'd seen people like Vivian Cross before, smiles that hid venom, voices that dripped with control. Every time he passed her silver SUV parked near the mailbox, her stare followed him like a warning. By the second week, she'd stepped up her campaign. Motion sensors appeared on poles near his fence line, all aimed toward his pasture. Then came the complaints, handwritten, folded neatly, always signed President, Silverwood Meadows HOA. She claimed his animals made disturbing noises, that his bulls' snorts were aggressive displays, and that his horses were lowering the property image. None of it surprised him. The more she failed to scare him, the bolder she got. She started gossiping at the community meetings, talking about certain new homeowners bringing farm behavior into a refined neighborhood. Everyone knew who she meant. Still, Noah ignored it. He worked his land, tended his animals, and minded his peace. But on one Friday afternoon, that peace shattered. He'd gone into town to pick up feed and tools, no more than a few hours away. When he drove back through the gate, something felt wrong. Titan wasn't near the tree. The chickens were scattered. Apollo and June were pressed against the far fence, uneasy. Then he saw them, 2 men inside his property wearing black polos and fake laminated badges that shimmered in the sun. One was a heavy-set man waving a stick like he knew what he was doing. The other, skinny and pale, was trying to corner the chickens with a rope and yelling orders that made no sense. Noah parked the truck slowly, his expression steady but his pulse rising. He stepped out, bat resting against his shoulder, voice even. "Mind telling me what you're doing on my land?" The heavy one puffed out his chest. "HOA security. We've got authority from President Cross to remove unauthorized animals. You can take that up with her." Noah looked at the phony badge, then back at the man. "You're on private property. You've got about 10 seconds to walk back through that gate." The man sneered. You people don't get to make the rules here. And just like that, the line was crossed. The words hit harder than the man knew. Noah Briggs didn't move at first. He just stared at them. Two strangers on his land, off spewing arrogance and prejudice like they'd earned the right to breathe his air. The heavy one swung his stick again, this time striking at Titan, who jerked back with a startled snort. That was it. Noah's jaw tightened. Years of restraint vanished in an instant. The bat slid from his shoulder, firm in his grip, his voice dropping low and steady. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. Before either man could react, Noah moved. The bat cracked against the heavy one's arm first, sending the stick flying and the man stumbling backward into the dirt. The sound echoed through the pasture, a sharp, hollow thud that silenced everything for a second. The skinny one froze, eyes wide, hands shaking. You think breaking into a black man's home and hurting his animals makes you tough? Noah stepped forward, the sun catching the steel ring on his bat handle. Try standing your ground now. The second man swung the rope in panic, but Noah batted it aside like nothing. One swift motion, another strike to the ribs, sent him crashing into the side of the fence. Dust flew, chickens scattered. Titan backed away, snorting hard, eyes fixed on the chaos. The heavy man tried crawling toward the gate, gasping. You're going to regret this, he wheezed. Noah stepped closer, voice level but cold. I don't regret defending what's mine. He kicked the fake badge from the man's chest. It hit the dirt with a hollow clink. Now, crawl. Both men dragged themselves through the grass, moaning, scrambling toward their van parked by the fence. Noah stood where he was, breathing steady, bat hanging loose in his hand. He didn't chase them. He didn't need to. The message was clear enough. He reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, and started recording. 911, he said calmly when the dispatcher answered, like, I've got 2 men who broke into my property and attacked my animals. They're still here. Barely. The dispatcher's voice stuttered. Are they armed, sir? Noah looked at the bat, then at the men crawling away. Not anymore. The sheriff would be there soon, and when he arrived, Vivian Cross's world was going to collapse. By the time the sheriff's cruiser rolled up the drive, the 2 imposters were half inside their van, legs trembling, shirts torn. Noah Briggs stood by the porch, calm and ready, his phone in hand with the video paused on the best frame, both men on the ground, fake badges gleaming in the sun. Sheriff Alan Reeves stepped out, adjusting his hat. He'd known Noah for years. What in God's name happened here, Noah? Noah handed over the phone. They broke my gate, tried to take my animals, claimed they were HOA security under Vivian Cross's orders. The sheriff's brow furrowed as he scrolled through the footage. The thud of the first swing, the threats, the racial slurs, all of it was there. When the video ended, he looked up, eyes hard. You did right. They're lucky that's all they got. The sheriff walked to the van. Gentlemen, he said flatly, step out and show some identification. They handed him laminated badges that looked like they'd been printed at a mall kiosk. The sheriff shook his head. These aren't official anything. Impersonating security is a crime, and so is trespassing. The skinny one panicked. It was Vivian. She paid us. Said it'd be easy. Just grab the animals and leave before the guy came back. That name landed like a hammer. Vivian Cross. Within hours, the story spread through Silverwood Meadows like wildfire. Neighbors whispered, cameras pointed, and by evening an emergency HOA meeting was called. The community center was packed, and Vivian Cross sat at the front, hands folded, face pale but defiant. When Noah Briggs entered with the sheriff and his lawyer, the room went silent. His lawyer wheeled a TV to the front and pressed play. The video ran in full, the trespass, the slurs, the attack, and the confession that Vivian had sent them. When it ended, the silence was deafening. One board member finally said, Vivian, did you really hire those men? Her voice cracked. I was protecting our property values. This man was turning Silverwood Meadows into a barn. Noah stood, calm but firm. You mean you were protecting your prejudice? The vote was swift, 5-1. Vivian Cross removed, banned, and reported for criminal investigation. Weeks later, she stood before a judge, sentenced to probation, community service at an animal rescue, and a $10,000 fine. And on a quiet morning, Noah Briggs sat back on his porch again, bat leaning by his chair, Titan grazing nearby. Peace restored, justice served. And if you believe peace is the loudest victory of all, like this video and subscribe to Story Arc because some battles end not with noise, but with dignity.